This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be cleaning you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. It's The Guest House by Jalaluddin Rumi. And as we come back in to a pretty somber moment ourselves, our guest house reduced ever so slightly with the passing of Keith. And probably not the most appropriate, exciting music right off the bat to announce that, but in the aftermaths of the battle between the JAL, the Strike Force, and the Coalition States Advanced Recon Unit, a couple of pretty amazing roles and then some very, very poor ones. Yakim and Keith had decided to take a little bit of the first steps in ensuring that the JAL, when they arrived, had a slightly easier time. Yakim stepped in, started taking over, snuck his way into the Coalition camp itself, managed to get past pretty much all the guards thanks to some very lucky rolls on his burn die. But then just at the barest end, he got to the UAR-1 enforcer, whom he was hoping to take down himself by stealing some weapons, just to find out that pretty much the CS, they had nothing available. And he decided instead the next best thing outside of a disabled robot are a bunch of disabled pilots. He butchered them pretty quickly, having the drop on them from being so stealthy, and then tried to take out the UAR-1 with a couple grenades, none of which really rolled enough damage to take out the giant robotic vehicle. But satisfied that he at least had disabled the robot, unless they got some pilots in very quickly, he tried to sneak out. Couple of good shots from Keith, but it put the CS on alert. The JAL managed to join not too long after, and as they caught up, and oops, of course I've dropped the pen that I'm fiddling with. As Yakim caught up with the commander to find out that he was pretty young and freshly juiced himself, hadn't actually taken the entire duration to get all the benefits that are applied, but taking the opportunity though to still kind of take up arms for the JAL, they struck out, went and attacked the coalition states, and then in a couple of pretty tense battles, the smaller JAL group did manage to take down the much larger and heavily armed coalition states. But in the course of it, Yakim, taking some heavy hits himself, though just fatigued, turned around to see that Keith was not so lucky. And taking hits and wounds that were too much for her, even the crazy augmentation, to overcome, he held her as she expired there on the battlefield. And that is where we are going to come right back in to our new scene. So we are starting off with a chaos factor of 6. So we are going to roll to see if we have the expected scene. It's a D10. It's a 1. So we are under the chaos factor. It is an altered scene. My expectations here are that we are, let's see, we're going to roll, and I'm going to use some automation just to try to get these things a little bit easier, so I'm not constantly battling my paperwork. The NPC action, it's an interrupt scene, comes up as communicate war, and I think that is itself its own kind of telltale sign. So Yakim gathering up with, and I don't believe we ever gave the poor kid a name. The fairly new juicer, who seemed to have a good enough head for tactics that they sent him out. Deltine. That's right. And as Yakeem kind of comes around, Deltime comes up. He's like, well, excuse me, Mr. Yakeem? Can I just call you Yakeem? Yeah, that feels about right. Yeah, what do you want, kid? And you got a medic? You got somebody who could help her? And they both look down and they know there's no coming back. And just, look, I'm gonna be busy for a little bit. She deserves something. All right, well, when you're ready, we are gathering up our wounded. We're gonna head right back to Dodge City. You're welcome to join in the caravan. Safety numbers and all that. Yeah, that's fine, kid. I got my own car. It's up away. I'll come up and meet you. All right. That's good. Thank you, Yakeem. Do you need some? No, man. Just fuck off. The kid nods and takes a few paces back to go see the wounded. Now, since juicers don't have that fun regeneration, some of these wounded are pretty seriously wounded. But Yakeem has no time for that. So I'm going to ask, is Yakeem... I think this is pretty likely. So I'm going to say this is very likely. Yakeem, is he going to spend the time to bury her out here? It's a 59. Yeah. He doesn't even think twice. And in this hard scrabbled earth, he begins to just dig. And of course, for him, the exercise and everything isn't too terribly difficult, though he is fatigued. So I'm going to give him a vigor roll. And if he makes this vigor roll, then he will not need to take another point of fatigue. So let's see here. He's got a vigor of D8. All right, that blows up. That's an 11, so with a raise. So yeah, he just begins to dig. And after about 20 minutes, with the augmentation, even as tired as he is, he rolled an 11, even with the -1 from the fatigue, it's now a 10. He just kind of sits back a little bit. 6-foot grave right there. He goes over and surprisingly gently picks her up, drops down into the hole with her, and lays her down, takes that flaming sword, places it in her arms in kind of a warrior's funereal pose. He goes, I have no fucking clue who you were. I don't know why you came out of nowhere to try to help me when you said you had your own thing, but you stuck with me. And it's kind of a rare thing to find somebody who's willing to stick with you. Keith, Tawny, whoever you are, however many demons you were battling up in that head, I'm sorry. Fuck. I'm sorry. He jumps back out of the hole and begins to pile on those first piles of dirt, and then stacks up a small cairn of stones. Is the only grave marker she's going to get in this battlefield burial site. Heads back to his car, takes a moment, looks around, realizes that the stab wounds in the upholstery are still there, and just, fuck it, I'm not going to bother getting that repaired. All right, Tawny, you got your signature. All right, fuck it. And he starts up his car and begins to head out. The shortwave radio crackles alive as the caravan begins to coalesce. And at first, let's give him a notice. I'm going to give him a notice roll. Yeah, actually with -1, that's a 3. He doesn't hear it at first. The radio's turned down low and he's kind of dwelling on his own darker thoughts. There's an excitement. Hey, you guys hearing this? Broadband. Yeah, switch to the broad scope. Yakeem just kind of looks down, turns the radio down, and then gets curious for a moment. And despite it all, he kind of turns it back up. So I'm going to ask the question here. Is this war communication the start of the Siege of Tolkien? I'm going to give this likely, that's a 40 on the dot, so, oh shit, yeah. Now the first reports coming in, the coalition states they've, about a day ago or so, they started striking Tolkien. And there's a couple other voices like, well, fuck, what does that mean for us? Are we going to go? Another voice comes in, a little more guttural, less human, just, what does it matter? If we're going to go after the coalition states, we should hit them now. No, we want them to get weakened out a little bit. You know, they hit the wizards and the magicians and whatever, they start summoning their shit, and then we wait for that army to get weak. Then we just go up there and we start picking them off one by one. That sounds like vulture talk. Well, fuck do you think we're doing out here? We're just gathering up enough bones to pick over, and then we're going to go and stab them right in their leg. And Yakeem just, oh my god. Fuck it. That's on like a whole different side of the world. I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a shit about the coalition anymore. Let's see. I'm going to roll another one. Does he actually not give a shit about the coalition? We know that he's got the enemy hindrance. And so for Yakeem, that could be just that he's got a wanted level with them. But if he's actively still kind of harboring a grudge against them, he may want to go after them. He may want to fight. And the kind of weird truth here is that the coalition states raiding Tolkien, the initial shots for the Siege of Tolkien, this is a monumental moment in the long-term history of what happens. To be involved in that might be a lot. So I'm going to say, let's see, if the question is, does Yakeem still have a vengeance against the coalition states? I'm going to say, given the fact that we learned about his sister, some of the things that he's been out here doing, I'm going to actually call it very unlikely. So with the chaos factor of 6, that's still a 35. So that is, that's a 4. Yakeem just kind of blinks again and goes, fuck those fucking bastards. No. I remember what they did. I remember the fucking experiments. I remember what UT was doing to us. And it was on the coalition states that fucking did it. Some good kids. There's some good kids that they put under that knife. Nah, fuck that. We gotta go blood at their nose. And a couple other voices come back on the radio. He goes, hey, is that Yakeem? He goes, yeah. Hey, what's up there, Jake? He goes, hey, Yakeem, you gonna be part of the party? Yeah, fuck it. No, this coalition needs to get their fucking noses bloodied. I want to be there to at least watch it. He goes, I got some other things that I want to take care of before we go up there, and oh shit, if anything, we got to find out where Julian is. He goes, yeah, fuck yeah, we got Yakeem back. Yeah. So, I'm gonna put this on as a new thread. That is Siege of Tolkien. And the caravan begins to move back out. So I'm not going to call that a full scene just yet, but what I am going to do here is, so we've got a much larger group. They're probably going to have some supplies. So I'm going to ask this. This is very likely that they bring extra supplies for the trip back. Oh shit, it's an 11, which means we're going into a random event. So first off, yes, they absolutely have, it's an exceptional yes, but we're going to roll a random event. So the event focus is PC negative. Guide. Hope. Guide Hope. All right. So what specifically? PC negative. So this is Yakeem we're talking about. Guide Hope. Okay. I got to think about this one a little bit. I've got a couple ideas. Does Yakeem go into kind of a depressive state with the loss of Tawny and the information that Julian is missing, the fact that his sister's nearby, but he may not actually be able to go out there and even try to find her? There's a lot going on, so here's what we're going to do. Is Yakeem about to go into kind of a depressive state? Say 50-50 here, because I don't know. So this is 65 or below. He's going to go into a depressive state. It's a 43. So we're going to say Yakeem goes into a depressive state, which I think for me, what I'm going to define this as, his fatigue, that's not going to go away. Yeah, I think he's going to keep that point of fatigue for as long as this remains. So this will be kind of an interesting thing to see how far this goes. So as the trip continues going forward, Yakeem just kind of gets a little bit of a bleak mood. He kind of turns every now and then as though to engage in conversation, and he looks over, he's like, hey, yeah, fuck. And as he does, it just becomes a continuous distraction for him. You try not to think about it too often, but even when he doesn't think about it, he's thinking about it. The first night of camp, as he just sits there with his other juicers, he takes enough to eat, just barely enough to drink. And as a couple of bottles start getting passed around, he can just, no, I don't want that shit. Get it out of my face. And he just sits there staring into the fire. Eventually, Del time comes around. And he's like, hey, Yakeem. So I kind of heard you getting pumped up on the radio there. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think we should get involved in the coalition so quick? Look, man, not one of us is not going to check out at some point. You know? You understand? Some of us are really fucking close to checking out. Some of us are starting to feel the heat. We're just going to be seeing folks die. We're going to watch people get lost. If I'm going to get lost, goddamn, I want to take it to those fucks. I want to put one big goddamn laser pistol right in the fucking face of Talbot, and I want to pull that trigger until the clip's empty. Well, yeah, we all do, but no, you don't fucking get it. You weren't there. You didn't see it. You didn't see what they did to those kids. No, but I heard about it. You know, it's a big fucking story. He goes, yeah, oh, it's a big story because we're still cleaning it up. You know what? I'm fucking beat. I'm going to go to bed. I'll be in my car. Make sure you guys don't leave without me. Or if you do, you know, at least don't pop my tires or some stupid shit. And the kid looks at him a little weird, goes, oh, okay, Yakeem. And as he goes into the front seat, pops it backwards so he can lay back, goes to close his eyes. We will close that scene right there. Given the loss of Tawny, given the announcement that the siege of Tolkien has started, and now this depressive state, we're going right up to chaos factor of 7, because it just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things suddenly happening all at once, and Yakeem has a goal. He wants to go get his sister, but now just the world keeps trying to pull him apart. So as we go into our thread list, we've added that one. Let's go to the characters. Need to add a new character. of Del time. And I'll finish filling him in later. All right, so as we get up in the next morning, we're going to start by checking the scene. It's a 3, so now we've got another alteration. Okay, let's see. The scene is altered, so let's go to the scene adjustment. Make 2 adjustments. All right. Remove an object, and yeah, I've already got 2 adjustments. Remove a character. Okay. Oh, what object? What object? Well, let's give a description here. Let's see if something kind of comes to mind. Bravely amusing. Bravely amusing. What object? Oh, I have an idea. So let's roll. Is the bravely amusing object at 50-50? Did Tawny leave the knife in the car? 97. No, it's not it at all. It's an exceptional no. So that is, we will say that it's nothing of Tawny's. Okay. No, I have an idea. Remove an object and remove a character. So let's roll on the character list. That doesn't make any sense. There's no bandits here. Oh, okay. So, remove a character. Lauren Tor, Yakeem's sister. Okay. Let's ask another fake question. Is this an item that Yakeem may be carrying from Lauren? So, bravely amusing. Remove a character, remove it. I'm going to kind of combine these here. It's a 66. Shit. So, yes, it is something specifically about Lauren. But we're going to have to roll a new... And you know what? I'm probably going to roll the random tables in the Rifts book instead of using the GME for this one. But as Yakeem starts just kind of drifting off, his mind just kind of a little blank, a little wandering, he reaches into kind of like not even a concealed pocket. It's probably like a tactical pocket that he keeps it. And let's see. Let's roll on some kind of like random item. Sensory sounds. Objects. An intriguing. Small. So as Yakeem reaches into his pocket, he pulls out, it's just a small, very thinly crafted, gleams with a little bit of a precious metal. It is a wedding band. Too slim for especially Yakeem's finger, but he begins to just kind of like fumble with it a little bit, twirls it around in one hand. And he knows, he begins to think about it. He goes, fuck, Lauren, I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to make sure to find you, to make sure that you could have Mom's old ring. But I don't know how I'm supposed to do this right now. There's too much going on. Fuck. I don't know what to do. And as he says this, I'm going to give him a notice roll. Of course, this is a -1 because he is point of fatigue. Oh, shit. Okay. So he's about to get ambushed as he just rolled snake eyes. Let us go over to the Savage Foes of North America, because we are about to roll a random encounter here. Okay, so. Ooh, doggies. No, actually, it's not in Savage Foes. It's in the GM's book. So, let's roll on the trouble table. That is a 5. Technical difficulties. One of the largest and most complex pieces of machinery in the group developed some kind of malfunction. All right. Choose a determine randomly, then roll in the difficulty. Okay. All right. So, let's ask a question. Is it Yakim's car? I'm going to say, given the fact that he's already having issues and he's not paying attention, I'm going to say this is likely. 96, no, it's not his. As a matter of fact, one of the larger kind of like troop carriers just it begins to wind to the side, and as Yakim kind of pulls up further on back, I'm going to ask another question here. Does it explode? No, it doesn't explode, but suddenly there's another vehicle. Keem's like, what the fuck is going on? All of the Juicer Caravan vehicles slow and pull to a stop, each one making kind of this long clicking noise. Keem starts looking around. His engine's the only one rumbling. There's now a scattering of, roll 2d12 to determine how many of these juicers are actually left. Where's another d12? I know you're in there. Can't hide from me forever. So there's 9 of these vehicles in total. Yakim makes 10. And most a dozen juicers. And as these 11 in the caravan just begin to stutter and stop, Yakim gets out too. Turns his car off just in case. Hey, it's Delta time. What the fuck's going on? Why are we stopping? Delta time. I don't know. Dude, and looks over and is like, hey, do we have any of the Phaetons left? No, they all bought it. And they went on suicide runs trying to make sure that they got down to take out the Skelebots. He's like, this is kind of a problem with the Juicer army. Everybody's suicidal. How the fuck are you supposed to get home? Fuck. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to make it back. Fuck. And as Yakim comes over, I'm going to give him, he's got a D4 in repair. He's going to be taking a -1 because of his fatigue. And I'm actually going to say, let's roll 2d6 to see how bad this technical glitch is. 7? Okay. So it's going to be a -3 total on this roll. The highest is a 5. It's a 2. Yakim gets out and starts looking it over. He's like, oh, fuck, man. I don't even fucking know. Try it again. Fuck, man. They just let out a lot of smoke. Try it again. And then Yakim slams the hood down. It bends from the impact of his muscle, and he just... Fuck, man. Look, I could probably carry 3 people at most, but I think my car might be the only one that's still fucking running, and I don't know why. And they just look around and like, we are still miles away. Yeah. Look, I know there's a midway spot, a nice little ranch. You might be able to get us some accommodations for a night, but dude doesn't know how to fix shit. And on top of that, he's kind of living rough. Okay, well, can we commandeer and just kind of take over his farm until we can get some repairs? Like, we're not taking over that fucking farm. Do you understand me? Dude's got kids. A good person. Don't go in there and shit it up. You've gotten soft. Let's see. I'm going to give Yakeem here. I'm going to give him a spirit check. And it's going to be to see if he kind of takes his bait. All right. And as he... let's see... D8... -1. It's a 4 and a 5. He kind of withstands and holds his own for a little bit. He goes, look, fucking... Man, I don't know why the fuck he gave you access to an army. I don't know why he put you in charge of this. But I'm telling you right the fuck right now, I've been around longer. I'm closer to my checkout time than you are, so do not piss me the fuck off. And Deltime just kind of looks at him. He's like, I think it's something we'll talk about when we get back. He goes, you can talk all you want, son, but you may not make it back. You keep fucking running your mouth. And as Deltime just kind of like turns back, and he goes, all right, listen up. We are going to be heading to a ranch. We are not supposed to take over. We're not supposed to drink them dry, and apparently no abusing anybody who lives on the farm. And Yakeem kind of steps forward and is like, listen up. There's good fucking people here. We're not going to take advantage of them. All right. So that means that we go in. We're fucking polite. We don't drink all their booze. We don't take over the show. You don't lay a hand on any of the family members. And the last fucking thing we're doing is taking over. There's some growls about that. And like, well, I can't help what happens if I get drunk. And Yakeem steps forward. He goes, let me put it this way. If you think you're going to get drunk and lose control, go ahead and cut your own throat now. Because if I find out that somebody fucking hurt anybody on this farm, I will end you. I will rip that harmless right out of your body. I will let you sit in there and just stew out in that last few moments. And, oh, you're fucking serious. Goddamn right I'm serious. I'm as serious as checkout time. All right. Fuck it, man. I don't care about this shit. I just want to get home. And as Yakeem just kind of turns back, he takes a moment, just kind of like, fuck. He's like, I'm going to drive ahead. I'll let him know that you're on your way. All right. Yeah, I think that might be best. So, Yakeem, that was not good. Now, I'm going to actually ask one last fake question before I change the scene. Because I have a suspicion. Is this due to something being wrong with the fuel that the group brought with them? So I'm going to say this is 50-50 because it affected all their cars. That exceptional yes. 45 yeah. So the fuel that is that the entire group brought to try to get their caravan back home, there's something wrong with it. And so as Yakeem just tries to keep moving forward, his vehicle, the only one that's not entirely fueled by whatever it is they brought, he starts, and I'm going to make sure to put that on the list too, because now there's a real possibility that something else is going on. They may have been sabotaged. So we're going to... This is the threads list. So we need to add Siege of Tolkien begins and corrupt fuel from Dodge City. All right, so now I'm going to adjust this. We're going to go down to a 6. Yakeem had a little bit of control over that situation there. So we roll right off on the bat. That is a 7. So actually this scene progresses as normal. Yakeem gets back into his car, slams the door a little bit harder than he should have, and then starts her up, begins to head out. He drives for the next few hours. He has a general idea for the way, but I'm still going to give him a driving roll, which is D6 -1 for his permanent point of fatigue for now. Oh, that's not good. But he gets a little, as the kind of depressive state sweeps over him, his eyes glaze out on the road, and he just begins to think, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I just gotta let this guy know. He was a good fucking guy. He doesn't deserve any of the shit that's about to come through. And he realizes, of course, that he's drifted off a little bit. He's like, oh, fuck, where am I? Oh, god damn it. All right. So he's going to have to stop. I'm going to make him... He's going to take a survival check. And his survival check is a D6. So, the D6, -1, a 2 and a 3. Yakeem's lost. And for the next hour, he is driving, and he doesn't know where. He doesn't know where he's headed. Doesn't know quite what he's doing. He just keeps going down this kind of like rough control road. Just and eventually he just kind of looks up again. He's like, oh, is this the fucking place? Shit. No, I think I went past it. Oh, fucking turn around. And so he burns the entire day, eventually coming up to the farm, as it was along the main path, but he did kind of lose track and lose sight of where he was. As he pulls in, he just kind of looks up and he goes, hey, honks his horn. Hey, I don't know if you guys are asleep or not. It's Yakeem. I saved you guys, or at least, your kids. And the Finoti steps back out. Well, howdy there, partner. I wasn't expecting to see you so soon. Yeah, no, look, man, I want to let you know there's a group of folks like me who are going to be heading up the road on foot. They'll actually get here a lot quicker than you think. They're pretty fast. I wanted to let you know they're going to be coming up this way, and I told them about you. It should be a good place to stop over. Hope you don't mind if I cash in that favor. Just, allow these folks to camp out far side of your farm, as close to the road as you can get. Don't let them come into your house. Don't let them drink any of your booze. Definitely do not let them into any of your farms. But if you could feed them, that'd be nice. Okay, well, partner, I mean, how many folks are we talking about? It's 12 folks like me. And some of them may eat a lot. Oh, 12 folks. Oh, gosh and gollies. All right. Well, I appreciate the update. And you sure you don't want to stick around for a meal? I mean, the little ones just put on a fine bug beef stew. And Yakeem just goes, no, it's all right, man. I got to get back on the road. I want to get as far as I can, but they're going to come through. Oh, well, all right there, Mr. Yakeem. Hey, look, I'm still very gracious for you, coming up and saving my kids. Yeah, no, it's no worries, man. Someone's got to do the right thing. Well, I'm still very glad it was you. So thank you, partner. Yeah, cool, thanks, man. And Yakeem gets back into his car, not even wasting a full 20 minutes, and then starts heading out. I'm going to give him another driving roll, as he's going to be driving past his fatigue limit. So this is a -1. You know what? I'm going to Benny that. Ugh, even fucking worse. Now, Yakeem's car begins to stutter. Oof. And takes another point of glitch. So, as he starts heading out, he hears the And he realizes, of course, that he refueled a little bit from what the juices had brought with him. And he, no, baby. Come on. We got to get back home. Don't fucking do this. He pulls up the dark sky overhead, just a smear and wash of white and blues, the speckled moving dots in the sky that seem to twinkle. There's no light pollution, of course, and so the Milky Way in all its grandeur is directly over his head. He actually doesn't remember a time in which he couldn't go outside and see some portion of the Milky Way. But right now he is not impressed as he pops open the hood. And this is now going to be... So he's -1 from his fatigue. He's got a -2 from the glitches of his car. That is a 3. Oh, that explodes. So the D4 explodes. Oh, explodes again. So it's now an 8. So it's down to a 5. 6, 7. So it's not quite with a raise, but he spends the next... 4 hours. But he can repair at least the oldest of the glitches. He begins kind of binding up some of the pieces, and after 4 hours, he just kind of sits back and wipes his forehead. Just like, fuck, man. All right. Well, I think if I got this right, then this is that fuel tube that they were telling me about, the gas line. I think I could probably run it through like some kind of like filtering, but it's something I won't have to do in a garage. I don't know how to fucking do it out here, but for now, I think it'll just keep going. I think the transmission will be a little bit smoother. I need to fucking learn how to do this if I'm going to keep this thing going. Eventually, he just drops the hood again and then leans up. The chilly night sky just kind of overhead. He glances up and looks, and he's like, that's pretty. He's going to need to make a vigor roll as he's pushing himself past the normal amount of sleep. He does get a +2 to resist fatigue. So it's a 4 and a 4. So there would be a 6 minus 1, so it's 5. So, yeah, it's a success. So he kind of successfully fights off fatigue long enough that he can go and get some rest. And as he closes his eyes, wakes up 4 hours later, his mind still reeling from the visions he had before. He saw it. He saw the death and destruction. He saw the fight as they had to get back out of Newtown. And as the Prometheus treatment had been activated, he shakes it off. No, it's not the fucking time to think about that. All right, so I'm going to take the standard travel rules. No, I'm not, actually, because the travel rules here may not really be a great idea for the duration of travel, but I'm going to continue using a chaos factor of 6. It's not much has changed. We're going to test the next scene. It's a 9, goes off unhitched. So now we're going to give Yakeem a driving roll to see if he makes it. 2 and a 1. He starts getting a little lost again. The long drive, the things that are on his mind. Yakeem himself is just kind of like starting to bliss out a little bit. The biocomp starts pumping through some joy juice, as they call it, into his mind just to keep him a little stoned, a little calm. But of course, what he's really concerned about at this point is just losing track of where he is. He knows that juicer caravan has probably already made it to the ranch, but as he steps back into his vehicle and begins to drive off, the weight of all the decisions he's made is kind of taken over on his mind. Yakeem, even with the potential that he's got some of this corrupt fuel in the lines, he's got to get as far as he can. There's always a chance that his vehicle's going to fail on him, and now he's starting to worry that his mind's starting to fail. He continues moving forward, driving as far as he can. So I'm going to draw that first card. It's a 9. So the day comes to a close. I'm going to ask a fate question here. Does Yakeem try to push himself to get back to Dodge City as fast as he can? That That is a 68. No, he doesn't push himself. Instead, he just kind of, nah, I can't keep doing this. I'll fucking burn out before I even get there. Fuck it. I'm gonna pull over, get another night's sleep. He finds a nice resting spot, pulls over, and tries to go into a dreamless sleep, but of course that eludes him entirely. So we'll ask a question. Does he continue dreaming about the events of Newtown? 51. His dreams come unbidden as he turns back to the rest of the commando unit that's already in the that's still in the coalition states science bay. The rest of the group, as he comes back and starts telling them what he learned, he goes, fucking lab coat in there just said that they're going to be coming back. Anybody, you guys see anybody start moving around or something? Any zombified juicers? Like, well, I don't know. What the fuck's that going to look like? He goes, I don't know either. I think the best thing for us right now, the best thing for us is probably going to be just making sure that if you see a zombie, shoot it. And, all right. The group, as they begin to come out, a little shell-shocked by the revelations, they begin to move as a unit. And they get up to the first corridor. The flickering lights and the dim white hallway seems to surprise everybody. Come here, kitty. Come on now, Foggy. I'm trying to tell a scary story. And so as they step into the long corridors, the swinging doors, as they try to coalesce, or as they try to rally behind each other, Yakeem just kind of points out, and in that silent fashion of folks who have worked well together, they step through one after another. Lights flickering. A couple of the other juicers begin to raise their multi-scopes up to their eyes, the green lights flashing like cat's eyes, and they just sweep corner to corner. Let's see. I'll ask a fake question to this one. Keep the same chaos factor, but do they encounter any of the converted juicers? 81. It's a silent movement. Even with the heavy boots, these are well trained. The juice is pumping through all of them. There's a silent agreement that they do not need to raise an alarm unless a firefight begins. The movement continues. They push forward, up the next flight. There's a moment where they stop. Two of them turn and begin to discuss in silent voices. Hey, do you think we need to clear the entire building, or should we just bring this thing down? Well, I don't know. If we bring this whole thing down, there may be more secrets in it. Yeah, but if we don't bring it down, there may be some fucking murder zombies or something. Well, I mean, that's just kind of a problem for tomorrow, ain't it? I mean, if we bring the building down, it'll be a problem for tomorrow, but getting out of the building will be a problem for today. You understand how that one works? Oh, I just wanted to see this shit blow up. I mean, I brought the plastic explosives. I ain't going to leave without using them. You brought plastic explosives? Well, I didn't think I was going to make it this far. That's fucked up, man. All right, start setting them. I want to see this place go up, too. And they begin moving through the corridors, looking for columns, load-bearing structures, doorways, bathrooms, because it's going to be funny. And they set thousands of small shape charges. These heavy damage, mega damage, plastic explosives. They put a little radio receiver in each one of them. And as they begin going through, Yakeem kind of comes up to one of them, running from corridor to corridor, flips up one of these quarter-sized pieces, gets them planted into the ceiling, and Yakeem looks up, looks at what it is, and just, what the fuck's going on, guys? Oh yeah, we're gonna blow this place up. Why? Because it'd be funny? fuck, man, we're still in it. Well, it's a good thing you're fast then, huh? Ah, fuck, it's like working with a goddamn frat group. And as Yakeem starts moving forward, he's like, hey, well, we got civvies downstairs, man. We can't just blow the place without getting them out. He goes, you can't. I sure as fuck can. Those are coalition state civvies, man. They ain't civvies as far as I'm concerned. They just walk in grease stains. He goes, you fucking kidding me, man? Yakeem goes running back. And as he comes around the corner, he sees that there is movement up ahead. He sees kind of like dirty white, almost like linen draping on the bodies. The forms themselves move with a slightly awkward gait, but he stops anyway, and in his mind he thinks, it's surely got to be one of the scientists. And his voice kind of rings out, hey, you're going to want to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, a couple of the guys are planning on blowing it up. I think they're probably stoned right now, but they got a lot of plastic explosives. One of the forms turns. The meat in the right arm is carved out, like the nastiest looking scoop had just been pulled aside. The fingers themselves look like the fingernail beds have begun to fold over, as though melted wax instead of flesh still clung to these bones. But most importantly, as Yakeem kind of finally gets sight as the lights flicker on and off, he sees tubing that runs from a harness not unlike the one that is currently chafing around his neck. But instead of the standard white and red that seems to pump through a juicer's biocomp and the augmentation system of the juicer program, these grow with an unnatural green. One of them turns and raises an arm, despite the fact that the face that's attached to it has absolutely no lips, the teeth exposed, it grimaces. And Yakeem from here can see that the juicer pump kicks in with a scream of a dying soul. And as Yakeem wakes up in his car, we will continue moving forward from there. Let's see if this next day, what is it, 3? So Yakeem gets back on the road, tries to find his way. Let's give him a survival check. 5 and a 4. Fortunately, even with this point of fatigue, he kind of finds a good pace, keeps himself moving. He's finding himself still turning to his right, looking over into the passenger seat, seeing those knife gouges and wounds all over the vehicle. And he starts muttering to himself. He's like, fuck, man, like, why the fucking shit am I still doing this? He kind of glances up. He sees the rows and rows of corn and thinks, oh, well, it's a good thing it's fucking daylight now. I'm not stopping this shit, though. He hears the whistling of the wind cutting through the car, reminding him of the busted out windshield as he had to drive over a vampire repeatedly. He comes up. And let's see. We'll roll a real fake question here. I'm going to say this is likely. Does he come across the site of his fight? 52. Driving through, he sees the broken stalks. There's still the glittering pieces of windshield in this just shallow pit of a road. There's deep bloodstains that are now blackened. But as he kind of drives through, he slows down like a rubbernecker. There's not a single sight of a body. There's the chipped and shattered remains of an armor that looks like it had been punched through. The small fragments still just kind of like embedded around, just like detritus left behind after the tide washed away. But the signs of if there were any living creatures in this area are all gone. Yakeem just looks out. Yeah, nope. Steps on the gas and just drives on through as fast as he can. I'll ask a fake question here. Is Yakeem going to keep driving to make sure that when he rests tonight, he's not resting anywhere near these cornfields. I'm going to say this is likely because Keem's not fucking dumb. It's a 70, which is good because a 75 would have been a no. So Yakeem keeps going. He's going to need to make a vigor check with a +2 for his juicer ability, but a -1 for his point of fatigue to see if he can keep going without taking another point of fatigue. It's a 5 and a 3, so it's only a +1. That's a 6. That is a success. He keeps going. Even as the night begins to progress, he knows he wants to be nowhere near this goddamn cornfield. And if I made him take a fear check and he ended up getting a phobia, it sure as shit would be of cornfields. As somebody who grew up near cornfields, I could tell you in the dark that those things are scary. And he eventually gets back out to a much more untilled, unmaintained section. He pulls through, finds a small outcropping, pulls underneath and parks his car. The engine just kind of ticking in the cooling night. The sounds of different kinds of metals cooling at a different rate, scraping against each other and creating the let's see. He actually has a relatively quiet night. His mind, with all of its troubles, can't decide which one it wants to trouble him with as he sleeps. And his dreams touching everything from his sister, Julian, and the fights with the JAL, the fight of Newtown. But then he also dreams of Tawny. He dreams of the fight that he just had with the Coalition States. He dreams of the fight that he just had with Deltime about getting the remnants of the Juicer Strike Force back in time. And now, even more so on his mind, is the rumor mill spreading through the airwaves that the Coalition States have started their initial assault and their siege against the city-state of Tolkien. He gets mad. There's a real moment where, as he's trying to bed down, he just starts heart pumping, and for a moment the biocomp threatens to kick on as he thinks about how badly he wants to take the fight to the Coalition States. Fuck. He goes, I don't even know how we could do that. Maybe I just go and volunteer. Maybe I just quit the JAL. I can go find a mercenary corp. I guarantee you that fucking Tolkien's spreading around a lot of money. But then, fuck what I do about Lauren. God damn it. As he leans back, he eventually lets the creep of night wash over him, lets his body rest even if his mind won't let him. And he wakes up. So I'm going to give him a spirit check now. The spirit of... Come on. Spirit of a D8. Let's see if he can shake the depression he's stuck in. It's a 4 and a 1 with the -1 from the fatigue. No, he wakes up the next morning just still feeling absolutely like shit. And as he gets up, that is the 4 on his third day of solo travel back to Dodge City. 2 more days remain. He gets going, trying to not necessarily keep an eye on exactly how far he's traveled, but keenly aware, of course, how far he has left to go. That blows up. That blows up again. Yay, Akeem. Finally, some good rolls for you tonight, buddy. It's a 12 total. Actually, it would be a 10 total. 2 points off because of the vehicle and 1 point because of his fatigue. And it's still with a raise. He doesn't seem to be having any issues with the fuel lines from the potentially corrupted fuel, but he gets a pretty good distance. The flatlands themselves continue coming forward, and now we are back into that same section that seems like so long ago he had just left. He knows Dodge City's but just a couple days away, and it becomes a lot easier to recognize the surrounding terrains, even though it is completely flat. you still kind of get to know where small dips and valleys seem to indicate, how far you are as mile markers go. So as he pulls in for the night, try to get one more fake question out of this. Ruh-roh, Shaggy, that's an 11. So yes, he has a dream, but it's about to be an interrupted night. So we are going to go and roll on an encounter. So let's get back over to the troubles page. I like using the troubles page here. It's more than just like, oh, scary monsters. Instead, there are so many different issues that could potentially come up. So we're going to roll a d20 and find out what kind of trouble Yakim has this nighttime hour. A 19. He does have an encounter. So draw a card from the action deck. It is a hearts. On a club's result, the encountered group somehow managed to get the heroes by surprise, while on a spades, the heroes had the advantage. It's neither, it's a heart. So we're going to go over to the encounter table. It is now a d20 on this. 18. Oh, shit. Okay. I don't even have to roll for any of that. This is bad. This is real bad. Yakim, I'm going to give him a notice roll, -1. Doesn't notice at first. Far away from the waterways, from the Atlantic Ocean where these things have been spotted before. Yakim just kind of takes a moment and just, oh, fuck. Fuck is that noise? Is there a thunderstorm coming through? And there's a rumble. It's enough to kind of get him up. Okay, what the fuck is that? Throws open the door, grabbing his gear. And as he kind of rolls out of the car, he looks up, and hovering over him, it's an easily 20-foot wide disc. It's floating with a couple small islands floating around it. These eyeballs hovering in a magic green goo, each one flicking, looking left, looking right, looking up, looking down. The cat's eye split that makes these the eyes of Ailor. But it's the platform that holds his attention. A mass of squiggling tendrils, moving with a viscous fluid covering them, attached to a body that easily is just as tall as this thing is wide. Eyeless, except for the headrest that sits over it, the long lizard-like dragon teeth, the multiple arms, each one holding just some terrible fucking dark magic weapon, and surrounded by these 3 just impossibly fit women, each one wearing a gold headdress that covers her eyes, but the weapons in her hands are equally as deadly as a Splugorth slaver and its 3 assassin blind Alterans begin to hover through the space. Some of the absolute worst slavers on this planet, and they are here in Kansas. So I'm going to pause here for just a moment so I can get prepped for this. I will be back in just a second, but thanks to the magic of technology, you may not know. All right, so here we go. As we're going to start off right off the bat, Yakim, let me think about this. I'm going to ask a question. I'll ask a fake question right off the bat. I'm going to say this is very likely, and the only reason I'm even rolling for this is because of the fact that Yakim has his death wish hindrance that comes from being a juicer. And in his depressive state, like, there's a real chance that Yakim may try a suicidal fight. So, to that end, I'm going to roll a question. It's very likely, because, while Yakim may be slightly suicidal, he's not fucking crazy. It's very likely, does Yakim flee, recognizing that he would be absolutely outmatched and outgunned in this fight? So this is an 85 and below to determine that Yakim will not fight the Splugorth slavers if he can help it. And that's a 46. So Yakim sees this thing, sees the lights coming off of the barge, the heavy eyes just turning in each direction, looking around, scanning. Oh, fuck that. Nope. And he climbs back into the car. The car roars to life as he puts the keys in the ignition, and keeping his head down as though somehow they are not going to notice that suddenly there is now a bright, warm spot. He tries to gun it. So we're going to start off We're going to start with a driving roll. And this is -3 because -2. His point of fatigue and his glitch that's still on his car. That's a 2 and a 1. But you know what? He's going to freak the hell out. So this is going to be a burn die that throws on top. So right now he has a 0. And he needs to roll a 4 or higher on the burn die. He rolled a 6. Yakeem, as the juice begins to kick in, he very quickly wraps both hands. They go white knuckle, and suddenly things begin to slow down. What scares him the most, though, is while he feels his rate pick up, the car itself feels sluggish under his hands in comparison to how it normally feels, but that's just because he realizes he's moving in between the ticks of the hand of a clock. But as he looks over at the Splugorth, they seem to be moving in a relative speed as his. And he's like, oh, fuck me. So I'm going to give him to start. This is right before we're going to go into to a combat encounter, or at least a chase encounter. I'm going to give him a common knowledge roll. So this is 6, but it's going to be -1 for his point of fatigue. Wild die blows up. So that's 6 total. He recognizes this creature for what it is. He's heard stories, but very few people have actually seen one of them. But the images that come back from those few survivors that there are, it's enough to remind him he is way in over his head. A Splugorth slaver this far out in the Kansas wildlands, even far away from the Mississippi River, where they've just begun to take up some residence, using the waterways as the highways of this entire planet. The Splugorth are interdimensional slave traders, taking over the continent of Atlantis that had returned when the ley lines themselves came back onto the planet. The Splugorth and their minions, they are the worst pestilence of locusts that could possibly have landed here. Known for absolutely brutal efficiency, for their use of bio-wizardry in such a way that they will attach, using a combination of magic and biological technologies, methods of symbiosis that leave the recipient in a stupor, parasites that can take over the mind of a creature, or even replacing the body and just leaving what's left of the mind to be controlled by giant crab-like things. The horrors that these creatures tend to impose are so much that even the myths about them barely scratch the surface. And that's not even including who is usually accompanying them. Out of anything, while the Splugorth slaver itself, this isn't even the actual species known as the Splugorth. This race's name is long lost to time, and they are just now known as the Splugorth slavers. They are embedded and bonded to their barge. They are sent out in search and destroy or search and capture missions to bring back any slaves they can find. But they're almost always accompanied by the Altera warrior women, another race of biologically manipulated creatures, each one a clone of each other. Absolutely beautiful, but incredibly deadly. With their name, though, they are known as the Blind Warriors, too, as they are born without eyes, sockets completely sealed, eyelashes that don't exist, as there is no eyelid to open. And as while they may be blind in appearance, they do not seem to act blind, as in combat, they are ruthlessly deadly, easily on par with the Juicer, if not a little bit stronger. And what we are going to do here is go into a chase scene. So let's start doing our shuffles here. Yakeem, given the fact that he got a success but not a raise on his car, he is going to, let's get these out of the way, move you back 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 5 cards for now. And Yakeem is going to start 2 cards ahead. All right, so let's take a look at some of these stats, because the truth is that the Splugorth are absolutely frightening. Edges, let's see. Do they have quick? They do not. Excellent. Okay. But they have bloodthirsty, mean, overconfident, outsider, and ugly as their hindrances. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to roll a fear roll for Yakeem, because this creature has a fear check of -2, which means Yakeem is going to take a -2 to this roll in addition to his fatigue, so it's a -3 total. So with the spirit of a D8, that is a 5 and a 2. -3 total puts him down to a 2. I can't afford for him to lose this fear roll, so there's his Benny. It's his last Benny for tonight. Okay, good. The wild eye blows up for an 11 total, -3. That's enough for a success. Because while the fear of what he sees kicks in, he can feel that heart race as it begins to try to take a grip over his own heart. But as he does, it's a matter of life or death here. And the juice kicks in first. So Yakeem draws a 9 of clubs. The Splugorth gets a 3 of spades. So Yakeem gets to go first. And you know what? Just to add a little context here, I am going to roll, let's get, we're going to do combat actions. We're going to roll the combat actions table for the Splugorth to find out specifically what is it out here for. So that is mysterious. That makes sense. Mysterious Pursue. Yeah, I'm going to read this right off the bat. Given what they are and who they are, the Mysterious Pursue, they may be out here for some mysterious reason, but they're not going to pass up a good chance to grab slaves. So as Yakeem, he's going to take his first driving roll and try to get away as quick as he can. I've been rolling a D4 for his driving. He's got a D6 in driving. That's good. He's going to need that. I'll just chalk that up to a little simple oversight. So let's see here. Not that one, this one. That is a 3 and a 3. I'm going to throw a burn die on it because he can't afford to lose right now. Because with his point of fatigue and then with the glitch from his car, that comes down to a 1. So he's got to roll a 3 or higher on his burn die. Ah, shit, that's 2. As fast as he tries to get it to go, the truth is he doesn't seem to see the movement in his rearview mirror, mostly because the rearview mirror is busted up. But the thing seems to be able to keep pace with him with no problem. So as Yakeem tries to move forward, he catches a quick sight. The creature itself, let's see here. I don't know what skill it's going to need to do for this, so let me take a look. So the barge is actually designed to be controlled by his mind, which means I'm going to say it's his athletics. So the Splugorth Slaver is going to use his athletics to perform this chase. Now the issue here, the Splugorth Slaver is also a wild card. That is a 2 and a 3. Yeah. Actually, let's see. What is the speed? Pace is an 8. No. I'm just looking through to make sure I understand all the abilities, because there's a lot of abilities from this flight. His flight speed is... It's a pace of 12 with the D6 run die. So, yeah. It is slightly faster right now, but only because Yakim's car is messing up. So we're going to actually... That doesn't get any pluses because of a change in pace, but they are equally matched. It'll be difficult for Yakim to get away without some really good driving. So we will go to the next round. It's a 5 for Yakim. That upgrades to a jack. And then the 10 for the slaver. So this is the jack of clubs. Just to make sure, do the clubs mean anything? It's a good thing I've got the books right here. I can never remember with chases if it's a club or a spade that causes an issue. I should learn this. And maybe by the end of this adventure, I will. So we are chase actions, held actions. No, I know it's over here though. And then chase actions. I could have sworn. Complications. If a character or group's action card is a club, which Keem's is, something has gone wrong. So he is on the 9 of diamonds. If he fails, this is a -2 to his driving roll just to keep himself from kind of getting bumped. So combined with everything else, it'll be a -4. And if he is bumped, he's going to fall back 1 card. He fails. You know what? Burn die. It's burn dime time because he rolled a 5, which comes down to a 1, so he's got to roll a 3 or higher on his burn die. That's a 5. Okay. So he manages to maintain his spot. But now we're going to give him... I'm going to treat this. This is his action, which gives him a +2 to it. So he doesn't get any other actions this round. But it's going to counter the fatigue and the glitch of his car. So it's a 4. So he manages to move up 1 card. But now we get to the Splugort Slaver's turn. He's going to take his free action to try to maneuver up. That's an 8 on the die, so he moves up 2. 1, 2. And then he is going to... Actually, one of the... Let's take a look at the Alteran women and see what their stats are. Because one of them... Notice, shooting, fighting, stealth, survival. 1 card behind, they're going to take a shot with one of their... Let's see, which one? Let's roll combat action. And interpret that. Block. Break. Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. The Alteran women... recognizing that this vehicle has a chance of allowing their prey to get away, they start firing at the car itself. So there's 3 of them. Shooting of a D10. They are not wild cards. So what I'm going to do is give them, as a group, a D10 plus a D6 as the wild card die, despite the fact they're not wild cards, to treat the kind of like randomness of multiples firing. Oh shit, the 10 blew up. That's a 14 to hit the car. Let's see. The wrist blaster does 2d12 damage. Wow. Holy shit. That's gonna hurt. 2d12 plus with the raise, that gets an additional d6. Let's see. 8, 12, 17 against Yakim's car. Yeah, so it takes 1 wound. And now Yakim needs to make a driving roll. And let's see here. Whew, okay. He keeps control of his car, but the car itself takes 1 wound. So it's a body shot. Let's take a look. As cars get hit, they have to roll whenever they get hit with the... is it the difficulty? Yeah, it's a critical hit. So 2d6 to determine what really happens with the vehicle. That is an 11 total. A random weapon is destroyed. If there are none, treat it as a chassis hit. Chassis hit suffers a wound in the body with no additional effects. Okay. So Yakim's car suddenly gets just dinged. Not even dinged. These heavy plasma bolts begin flying through the air. They illuminate the night with just a bright, like a deep blue, that flame at the end of a wick where it burns sometimes the hottest. It scorches across the body of the machine, and the metal where it impacts leaves a welt, almost like a blister on skin, as the metal itself becomes superheated before it cools again in the night. And as the creatures continue firing, Yakim hears as something drags on the ground from his car. He looks over to see that the rear panel, as he looks out the side view mirror, is just dragging on the ground, sending sparks in all directions. He's, oh, fuck me. Okay. So we're going to go into the next round here. It's the Queen of Clubs. It's going to have a complication again, but the Ace of Clubs. So the good news is the complication that comes up first is with the Splugorth Slavers. So let's see here. They are on a diamond, which means that they've got to roll at a -2. And if they fail, they get bumped as well. So let's... I'm going to, just to play fair, I'm going to use one of their bennies. No, he still fails. Shit. Okay. So he gets bumped back 1. As the race continues, Yakim takes a hard left and goes into just kind of like a little bit of a ravine, this drop. Knowing this general area as he's trying to race back towards Dodge City, he knows that there's a section with a little bit more of a rocky terrain. And as the Slaver has to now start hovering a little bit higher, he doesn't want to get out of range of the long-range blasters here. But he has to slow down a little bit to get the elevation to keep up and out of the way. So Yakim still has to do the same thing. So 4 minus 2, burn diet. Okay, that's an additional 4. So it's at least one success. So he doesn't get bumped back, but now he's still on a chase to get away from this creature. That's a 3 and a 2. I'm so scared of using burn dies and chases. He's gotten hosed on these before. But that's a 5. So total, that's a 6. He gets to move forward 1 and lands on a Joker on the chase scene. So here's hoping that he gets to actually use something about that, because I don't remember what the Jokers do in a chase. Let's see, just to make sure I know. He gets a +2 to the roll, and the character or vehicle is bumped up to 2 chase cards. So, great things can happen, and also terrible things can happen. We will see. But he is going to... I think that's it for his turn here. I didn't actually give the Splugorth his roll. Yeah, I'm going to at least retroactively allow him to roll, see what happens, and it may change Yakim's. It's a 5, so it does move forward 1. He's still outside of range, so the women are now at a -2 to hit. It's a 6, so one of them does hit. No raise. 2d12 damage still. 11, that actually doesn't pierce the... Actually, the armor piercing 4. That does. His car's only got 1 wound left. And that is a 4 on the shot. Vehicle cannot be shaken. Exceeds. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's each raise on a roll causes a wound in one roll. So he's got to roll out of control for this one because the damage is low enough. So that was a 4 total. It takes a wound and a critical hit. A 7. The chassis suffers a hit in the body with no special effects, but Yakim's car is fucked. It now has 3 wounds, so all of his driving checks will be at -3. It has 1 glitch, which means it's a -4, and he's fatigued from his depression. So his driving rolls going forward are now at a -5. Now, he was able to get forward 1, and it was, -5. He actually doesn't get to move forward at all. That sucks. Okay, well, I'm going to move Yakim back 1, but this doesn't look good for him. He may have to abandon the car soon. And if he abandons the car, then he's going to be in combat. There's no way he could possibly get away from this thing. We're going to draw a couple more cards onto the field, and now Yakim gets the 8 of diamonds and the 2 of clubs, so that's kind of good. Yakim, I hope you have some great rolls going forward, buddy, because shit's going sideways quick. So this is his free action to move. That's a 5, which means he's got a 1, which means he's got to roll a 4 or higher on his burn die. It's a 5, so he gets to move forward 1. But now we go over to the Splugorth. It's athletics check, -2 for the diamond that it's on, and the fact that it's got a club on its action card. It's a 4 and a 6, which knocks it down to a 4, so that is enough to keep pace. It's now going to try to move forward on its turn. Gets to move forward 1, and now the terrible Terran women begin to take shots. I'm almost a little afraid to roll the damage now, but that is definitely a hit without a raise. It's a 10 minus 4. It's 14. That's not enough, actually. For once, his car manages to take a shot and not take a wound. But it still impacts. It causes the tires to skid a little bit. There is still a new rumble of just because the tires are starting to go flat. Yakim just, hold it together. Then it's 4 spades, which upgrades to the king of clubs, and then the 4 of clubs. Now, Yakim. So Yakim has a club in a chase, which means he gets to take, or that it's a required complication. He's on a joker, though, so he gets a +2. So the +2, if he fails this, with the -3 on the roll, then he gets bumped back up to 2 cards, which means he could end up behind the Splugorth, which would make this chase pretty much over right then and there. We're going to be running into combat. So here's going, buddy. That is a 1 and a 2. Holy shit. So he's at a -1. He's got to roll a 5 or higher on his burn die to get ahead of this. He rolls a 3. He is bumped back. The car spins out, and as he just kind of stops for a second and slams on the brakes. Oh fuck. He's going to try to drive in the hopes he gets a raise that allows him to get back to where he was. It's unlikely, but we're going to see. Oh shit, that blew up. That blew up again. So he's now at a 9 total. 12. So with a 12 total, he gets to... Up to 2 with the raise. Yeah, he's gonna move back to the Joker. He drives around, whipping the vehicle as he collides down into a small dip in this off-road terrain. The Splugorth Slaver flies overhead in its forward momentum, and then he sees it kind of go overhead. He almost ducks just automatically. The creature turns around quickly and he floors it, zipping directly underneath it as it tries to lower down to cut him off. He cuts just underneath the thing, inches away from the force field that is protecting it, manages to get just barely ahead of it. But that is his entire turn, pretty much just getting back to exactly where he was. Now this is on a heart, which means if he fails, there's no modification to the roll, but if he fails, then the Splooger Slaver will be bumped 3 and a 4, so he succeeds, but just barely. It's going to try to see if it can catch up to him. Yeah, it gets alongside Yakeem. And as it pulls up alongside Yakeem, they're going to be able to take their shots, but more importantly, the slaver gets to take his action. He reaches out with a really long range on this thing. And he is going to batter at the vehicle with this long staff he has. Flailing tentacles, not terribly unlike his own, which are attached to the barge, wrap around this thing and suddenly unfurl like the grossest flower petals you've ever seen. The eye right in the middle of it blinks, stares down at Yakeem, and its fighting roll is a D10 as it tries to bash the vehicle. So, oh shit, a 3 and a 2. It's gonna use a Benny, because why not? Alright, so that is a hit, and it now does its damage of its strength, which is a D12 plus 6, and then the staff does another D12, so it's 2D12 plus 6 damage from this fucked up looking staff. Oh no. Oh, Yakeem, that blows up. That's a 19. 21 points of damage against his car. Yakeem's car just shatters. It slams down onto the hood of the engine. And with the concussive force, it suddenly lets out a wide, almost sickly green pulse. As it impacts into the car, there is just a moment where Yakeem feels that the movement of the car just becomes incredibly easy. He turns the steering column in his hand. It spins effortlessly as he realizes it's no longer attached, and he is just holding a steering wheel. As it flips, let's see. We are going to... What happens when it is wrecked? If it is damage... Vehicle is wrecked from wounds caused by enemy attacks. Occupants in the land vehicle take 3d6 damage. Alright, Yakeem. Oh, fuck. That's 10. 12 points total. Against his toughness of... Well, at least his toughness is 16. As the car slams into the ground, the broken wheel in front pivots inwards, cants, and then suddenly snaps off with a sickening scream of metal. It tips the car over onto the driver's side front panel. Yakeem tumbles out, barely missing as the car tries to crush him underneath. And as he lands, tumbles, blinks away some of the pain and shock as he watches his beloved vehicle spin off into the distance. The slaver itself now turns back around, and there is a cackling noise as he realizes it's beginning to laugh. And now we are going to go from a chase scene. We're going to keep the same act, or we're going to keep dealing action cards from the deck, but we are no longer in a chase. We are now in full-fledged combat. All right, so Yakeem gets a Joker right off the bat. Yay, Yakeem! Woohoo! One Benny, making it rain. And the Splurworth gets a 5. The Alterran women, who are now going to be dealt in on their own, get the 7. And I actually think they do have the quick edge, but that's not going to matter for... They do. Yeah, they have quick. And so Yakeem gets to go whenever he wants. He's going to actually go on hold right off the bat. The women... We'll set them up in a triangular pattern. Get to go first. They come around and... Yeah, let's see. This is a kind of... I'm looking at some of the options that they have. Stored, how does that work? Okay. I need to pull up the book. Savage Foes. The Alterran warrior women have a lot of gear that is not clearly defined on the online version that I'm looking at, so we will flip right over to it. Black Market. Atlantis. Here we go. They have, let's see, their special abilities. They have a bad reputation, they are blind, instilled ignorance, near human physiology, and storm-fouled senses. But that is not the thing that I want to run. Okay. The 3 of them raise up and sensing exactly what it is that is going to be expected of them. They begin to fire, but these pulses look very different than what they had been firing earlier. They put aside the heavy blasters, and instead they are going to fire what look like quick pulses. They almost seem to be like a donut-shaped distortion in their air in front of them as they fire. They all fire directly at Yakeem. With his -2, though, the first one, they all miss, actually. They begin to impact in the ground, and where he is expecting that suddenly there's going to be scorched earth or damage, it actually just seems to ripple, and the grass that's kind of around him distorts slightly, and nothing seems to happen. They move forward quickly. And they are going to have alertness, attractive, blah, 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 first strike. Two-fisted. They don't get an additional attack with it, though, so... Yep. So they then jump down from the barge, and they strike out into kind of a delta pattern. They begin moving, and this is where he is going to... now interrupt. So this is going to be agility versus agility. Their agility is a D10. His is a D10 as well. So he gets his wild die. They do not. Yeah, he gets an 8. So with the raise, he gets +2 to these. He starts stepping backwards, turns, and fires. He's going to take 2 shots, one at... 2 shots, one at each, or at 2 of the warrior women. His shooting, of course, is still a D10. And let's go. Canceled out by the Joker. He gets a straight roll on this, because otherwise this would be a multi-action penalty. That is a 10, so that blows up. That's a 19 total. All right. Now, here's the really fun, fucked up part. Yakeem, on his last advance, took a really fucking fun edge known as Deadshot. dead shot means his first attack roll when he draws a joker, the damage is doubled. He also just got a hit with the raise, so he's going to do 4d6 plus 1d6 worth of damage, and whatever this number is going to be doubled. So this is 5d6 damage on his first shot. Oh, there's 2 1s in there. That sucks, Yakeem. So it's a 5, 9, 15, but this blows up. 15, 20, doubled. This is now 40 points of damage. Armor piercing 3. And this first warrior woman has a toughness of 21. He raises, turns, fires. There is a distortion as the bolt of light, the laser impact, just suddenly begins to burn. But the forward momentum, his just preciseness, it burns straight through the force field and catches this woman right in the throat. She barely has time to scream before her throat is melted, congealed, and effectively fixed into a cauterized wound. She drops to the ground, gasping for breath as he turns to take a second shot. It does not get the dead shot ability, but that is a 2 and a 1. And he's going to burn die this. So he needs a 3 or higher to hit her. He hits a 4. Does she have dodge? She does. So no, that doesn't hit. She, with kind of the juicer style quickness that he's kind of accustomed to too, she steps out of the way. Seeing to which direction he's pointing, he raises and fires. And just in that split second, she steps. And the beam just goes right past her. The heat of the forward momentum, or the laser itself, burns in front of her, but without even moving a muscle, though. She just goes back into the assault position. Now they are going to finish up their turn. They moved, and now we go to the slaver. Now, this guy is an issue. So he has tentacles, and what tentacles mean for a monster is that any single one action he takes with these tentacles, he gets to take 2 actions for that event. So if he strikes, if he tries to attack with one of the tentacles, he actually makes 2 attacks, as though he had Frenzy without incurring a multi-action penalty. And given the weapons that this barge has, he's going to have a lot of actions. So he moves forward with a flying pace of 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he floats easily right into melee. Actually, no, he stays back just slightly, and on his approach, he fires something. There is a blaster that's built into the front of the barge. As he's turning, he almost seems to be trying to line up something. Shooting is a D8. There it is. -2 because, of course, Yakeem is a juicer and just a little fast on his feet. But the wild die blows up. Oh. That is an 11. -2, that's a 9. It impacts into him. This is with a raise. He needs to roll a vigor check. All right, Yakeem, this is a -1 plus a -2 from the raise. So it's a -3 total. That blows up. So the 6, he succeeds. The impact, though, catches him, and he loses his breath. He feels the kind of like a wash of colors across his eyes as he realizes that they are using some form of like stun weapon to try to knock him out. He doesn't quite know what to do with this as the creature continues to move forward. Let's see. As its second action, though, it is going to, with spell casting as a D10, it is going to use one of its powers. It is going to try to use confusion. That is a 9 minus 2. That is a 7. And so, yeah, the confusion. Let's take a look. What does confusion do? Basic power, confusion. That helps no one, thanks. See page such and such in the book. Well, I'm trying to. Making them either distracted or vulnerable or both with a raise. So it is going to try to make him vulnerable. As Yakeem steps back around, suddenly he feels this wash as the eye that's in the middle of the staff pulses with a new light. And he just kind of feels himself go a little cross-eyed. The world blurs and is now doubles. And he sees like a distorted trail in front of him as he is now... Yeah, he's going to be vulnerable until the end of his next turn. So, let's go back and now reshuffle. This is not an easy fight at all. Yakeem is very outmatched. His Deadshot ability is the only thing that took down one of those warrior women. And there's still 2 more that are coming up around to try to flank him. Plus, now he's got the actual full assault from the slaver who's actually trying to apparently capture him. He may not be able to hold up too much against some of those stun weapons, which is frightening in its own right. So, Yakeem draws a 6. The slaver draws the ace. That's not good. And then the warrior women draw the king. So they're all going to go before him. Slaver's going to, recognizing that he's still vulnerable, is going to fire again. So this is a +2. Oh, wrong die. Let me just leave the D10 right there because I'm apparently using it quite a bit. 6 minus 2 is a 4, so that actually hits him again. And now he's got to make a vigor roll. Yeah, he needs to make a vigor roll. It's not with a raise, but it's -1. That is a 5 minus 1. That is a 4. He just barely succeeds. Shakes it off again. Yakeem's still trying to like unblur his own vision. Not quite sure what's happening now. The slaver, though, just gets a little frustrated and reaches out. And suddenly a bolt flies out from the front. It's a 9 minus 1. That's 2. So he actually starts with 3d6 damage. And it's 11, 15, 20 damage total from the bolt. Yakeem sees it coming. He's going to spend the Benny to try to soak this damage that's coming in. So 20, he has got to get 2 raises, or a success and a raise. Oh, fuck. All right, where's that? Let's make sure something here. How does, let's, oops, that's what I meant to do. Edges and hindrances. I want to make sure that the burn, what specifically, I know that the burn is, yeah, it is a vigor trace, so you can use this for the soak. He just rolled a 1. Oh, shit. Yakeem. As his vision blurs again, Yakeem himself feels that there's a flush. It sweeps across him. It's a burning sensation. It's hot. It's cold. The fingertips go numb. His vision tunnels. It goes black, but suddenly it is even more of a juice rush that cuts through him. His burn count goes from 4 to 3, but it counts as a 6, so he soaks all the damage that's coming in, burning the last of his bennies, but Yakim is now going actually into the death spiral of a juicer. So we'll talk about that in just a second unless it comes up again, but he manages to fight off the event. The bolt comes in, it slams and impacts into him, and he just blinks it away, and he feels furious. We go over to the warrior woman. They come over and they begin to try to flank. The two of them come up side by side. The shots ring out. The stun tries to take effect, and he just sidesteps around it. He's going to raise up his gun. That is a 6 minus 2. It's 4. And then his second shot just to get them all done. Same thing. Okay. So he takes 2 shots against these warrior women. Since he's not on a Joker, he doesn't get that really cool Deadshot ability, but he's got to beat a 21 with 4d6. Oh, man, you're just rolling fucking ones tonight, buddy. That sucks. That's 9, 10, 12 total on that first shot. That's not even close to enough. His second shot, 10, 17. This explodes. He takes out another one, raising, firing, and then pivoting quickly to a 90-degree angle to try to get the other one. He takes that second one down. She drops with a gurgle, clutching at her arm. She is at least out of the fight for right now. Leaves one of the women up, but the slaver is just continuing the assault. Now, let's see. Yakim gets a 6. Slaver gets a 3. But since they have the quick, the last Alteran woman gets a 2 that upgrades to a 9. So she's going first. But of course, there's only one of her left. I'm gonna try to give an opportunity here. And I'm going to roll a fate question. Given the fact that she is the last one here, she does not have... Oh, she does have a death wish. Never mind. Well, let's see. This is going to be then very, very unlikely. Like near impossible. But does she try to turn and run? 97. Not even close. She is committed to the death. Poor girl. She fires the stun blaster. And it just ripples across the earthen terrain. What few scrubland grasses ripple under its impact. But it's nowhere near Yakim. He, though, on the other hand, turns. He's going to take 2 shots, one against the warrior woman and then one against the slaver. So this is at a -2 against the warrior woman. It's a 5. I'm going to throw a burn die into it. Now here's the thing. This is the part that I was waiting to tell you. As a juicer's life begins to burn down, as he gets closer and closer to that final curtain call, the juice, though, seems to have a stronger effect. So one of the things that happens for Yakim, as he is now at 3 burn left, his burn die goes from a D6 to a D8. And when it gets down to 2, his burn die will go up to a D10. And then when he's down to the final burn, when he is really pushing everything he has, that he knows checkout time is coming real quick, his burn die goes to a D12. So he's about to start doing some miraculous things here, but at the same time, there's always a risk it's going to be the final one. So he's going to throw on his new D8 burn die. He's got a 3, so he's got to get a 1. And here's hoping it's not a 1. That's a 7, so it's with a raise. So he takes that shot against that warrior woman. 5d6 damage. He's got to beat a 21. That's what I'm talking about, Yakim. So that's 14, 18, 24, 26. Yakim takes his last shot. Let's see, just to make sure. The last shot reaches up, and with the surprise, it cuts straight across, and as he takes the shot, it drags slightly to the left, and it just gouges a near horizontal hole from her chest, her heart, as it catches it, bursts, and she drops to the ground, not even making a sound. He turns his attention now to the large creature directly in front of him. Not quite in melee as it's hovering a few feet above him. He ducks underneath. This is a -2. That is a 6. So that is a hit with a raise. Or that's a hit. I think Yakeem's kind of mad. Do I risk the burn die to try to get a raise? Because that raise is what's really going to do this now. Let's see. It's armor. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to do it. Come on, give me something good. That's a 3, so it's still a hit. It's not a hit with a raise. But, 4d6. Now, as the force field itself is the first thing that needs to be knocked down. Let's see. The barge is covered in a dome-like energy shield that functions like the barrier power with a hardness of 20, which he has to beat to at least break the shield. That's not counting the fact that the creature has a toughness of 32. So the shot, it's 10, 14, 15. It's not enough. The laser just seems to etch across this invisible field in front of him. Just kind of looks at it. It's like, fuck, I hate these things. And he turns and tries to step back, keeping this thing in front of him. The warrior women are dead, so they don't get a turn. But or they did take their turn and then promptly died. But now we are to the slaver. He still begins to cackle a little bit. He's going to take multi-action here. He's going to start with the stun blaster. The shooting is a D8. 2 and a 3. Neither of one are going to hit. But he raises both arms. Or actually, no. He turns to look at him. And his head laser fires. Blows up. 9 total minus 4. That's a 5, so it's a hit without a raise. It's 4d6 plus 1 against Yakeem. Oh, that sucks. 10, 15, 18, 19, 20. So that's 20 points of damage against Yakeem's toughness of 16, and with the armor piercing behind it too. Yeah, armor piercing 5. So that is a hit with 2 raises. So Yakeem. Oh wait, Yakeem's out of bennies. Oh fuck me. Okay. So he just has to take the shot. Fuck, that sucks. Yakeem takes 2 wounds right off the bat. Well, not off the bat, but without a choice. The laser cuts through, and Yakeem is surprised. He feels the burning sensation cut into his arm, and as he looks down, there's a second one that's appearing in his leg. They cauterize quickly, the blood itself not seeping out. But Yakeem just, oh fuck. He turns, knowing that there's no real chance that he can run. Oh shit, and he gets the Joker again. Okay. Yay, Yakeem. Here is your Benny buddy. So, yay! That's always fun for Yakeem now. So he's going to take multi-action penalty, but of course with the Joker they are now both without issues. His first one is he's going to take his one of the recharges for his internal repair system. Let me check something. Was that mega damage? No, it was not mega damage. Okay. If he had taken mega damage, he was going to be taking injuries. But he needs to make a healing roll at +2 to heal wounds. That is a 4 + 2 is a 6, so he heals 1 wound. So he still holds on to 1. That takes 1 charge out of his internal repair kit. So he's now at a -2 for all of his rolls, for 1 wound, 1 fatigue, multi-action penalty, but +2 from the Joker. So that is now just a -2 for this roll. But he wants to hit. He wants to hit pretty hard, considering the fact that he's on the Joker and his dead shot's now in effect. Yeah, he's going to throw the burn die into that, because that is a 4, but -2, it's a 2. Oh, nice. He rolled a 7. So it's a 9 total. It's a hit with a raise. 5d6. Do it to him, man. Not a single die exploded. So that is 10, 15, 16, 17. Doubled is 34. The slaver has a toughness of 32, and it's already burned all of its bennies, which means it is now shaken. So, very quickly, he turns, takes the shot. Actually, its armor is 12. The force field is now down. And actually, looking at this, his armor piercing for this thing is... The armor piercing is 3. He caused a wound too. Yay! Good job, Yakeen. The slaver, shocked at the sudden show of violence as Yakeen continues to start to run again. Though his wound is now causing him to limp slightly, so he loses 1 point on his pace. But the slaver itself is also pretty badly hurt, shocked and a little surprised that something had gotten through. You see a rage begin to build. He is going to... Let's see, slow... They have slow regeneration, but they do not have regeneration. So he can only do that at the end of the day, not during combat. Instead, he is going to fire a mega damage weapon at Yakeen. So this is a... Given Yakeen's abilities, it is a -2 to hit from his uncanny reflex. Am I reading this right? I'm just realizing something, that I may have been giving Yakeen, like he may have been... no, he doesn't have dodge. That's what I'm thinking. His super, or the uncanny reflexes, gives him a -2 to be hit. If he had dodge, he would also get an additional 2, so it would be a -4 total, because I don't see anything that says they can't stack, but he doesn't have dodge, so it is a -2. Plus the wound, it's a -3, so the slaver is at a -3 for the shot. But he just rolled an 8. That blows up. So it's a hit with a raise on a mega damage weapon. Shit, this is going to suck. Yakeen does have the Benny, so he can try to soak it, but this is going to be a lot of damage. It is 3d12. 3d12 plus 6 plus a d6 from the raise. Oh, this could go really, really bad. Well, the good news is that nothing blew up. So that is 4, 8, 9, 16 damage total. 16 damage. He's got a toughness of 16. Does not have any armor piercing. But it also has it burns. So he's going to be shaken, but he does not catch on the The shot, though, impacts, and Yakeem looks stunned. The plasma begins to burn up around his armor, and he's quickly patting himself down. He is stunned, and that'll be at the start of his turn. And I realize, of course, I didn't give the slaver his vigor roll, or his spirit roll, which is a d12. Let's see if he unshakes. I'm just kind of assuming it's going to happen. Yeah, it happens. So it unshakes, but it still has a wound. So let us reshuffle here to get that Joker back in the deck. Yakeem now shaken. The slaver taking one hit, but given how large it is, it actually takes... it could take up to 4 wounds before it goes incapacitated. And its toughness is fucking through the roof. But Yakeem now has at least a little bit of a recognition that he has a chance if he can keep the stick and move, if he can make sure he doesn't get hit. But I can also tell you that after this, Yakeem is sure as fuck taking the dodge edge. Alright. Yakeem gets the 10, and the slaver gets the 7. Yakeem gets to go first. He starts by taking his... See if he unshakes. That is a 1 and a 6. Even with the 2 wounds, that is a success. So he unshakes. He turns -2 to fire. 2 and a 5, reduced down to 3. I'm going to throw a burn die in, which is a 7. So that's a 10 total, so that's a hit with a raise. Come on, big money, no whammy, no whammy. Oh, shit. So that's 18, 20, 25, and 3 of the dice exploded. 25, 29 damage total. Armor piercing 3, he shakes him again. The shot as it goes through the shielding, the entirety of the barge just seems to shudder a little bit. The invisible force field just disappears, and he shoots and hits right in center mass. The creature just begins to writhe. Some of the tentacles come up, and Yakeem sees this opportunity. He turns, runs back, trying to keep pace with it to keep it out of melee. But the creature comes forward, screaming. It is going to try to unshake. -1. Oh, but it doesn't, so it cannot take an action this turn. Fuck yeah, Yakeem. Yakeem, we're going to the next round of action because the slaver can't do anything. That's a 7 for Yakeem and a 9 for the slaver. He gets his turn again. -1. Yeah, rolled an 11 on his d12, so he is unshaken. It moves forward, and it is going to... It's going to take its multi-action to shoot the stun weapon and then try to catch him with the plasma weapon again. That blows up. It's a 9 -2, which is... it's a 9 -2 for Uncanny. -1 for the wound. So that is a 6. That is still a hit with Ray, or that's still a hit. So now Yakeem has to make a vigor check. -2. Where's my wild die? Or where's my what is this called? The burn die. So he's got a 4, which is -2, which is a 2 total. So he's got to get a 2 or higher. He gets a 2. So he manages to resist the stun effect. It tries to take over, but he is just mad and fighting this off. Forearm plasma weapon fires and misses. It catches some of the grass on fire. The dry sections start going up like tinder, but Yakeem doesn't seem to care. He turns and pivots, raises his gun, and he's going to take 2 shots. So these are a -4 total. Throw that burn die in. Oh shit, that's an 8. Nicely done. So that's a hit with a raise for the first shot. Yakeem. No, nothing explodes. That's 10, 18. That's not enough. He's going to take his second shot. Oh, that sucks. That's, what I say, -4, so it's a -1 on the shooting die. I'm not going to bother. That's a risk. No, he's got to. It's not making it. 6, so it's still a hit. Not with a raise. Yakeem just begins to fire as quick as his finger can pull the trigger. But the kind of heavy armor and heavy shielding of this creature is so much that he can't seem to get purchase again. The shots just start going, leaving tiny little black burn marks against the front chest plate of this creature. It continues moving forward, the tentacles swinging, and suddenly until the slaver's next turn. So let's see. Yakeem gets the jack. The slaver gets the 5, so it doesn't recharge until the slaver's turn. So Yakeem still is going to take... It's going to take 1 shot now to reduce the number of penalties he's taken. This is still a -2. So that's a 9, so reduced down, that's a 7. He's going to take his shot. 4d6. Come on. Bust through that fucker's armor again. So that's 7, 8, 14, and this explodes. 15, 16. That's not enough. He turns and fires. It's not enough to even break the shielding, which quickly comes back up over the creature. And it's just going to take its stun blaster shot, not try to be fancy anymore. -3 total. That is a 3, which does not hit. But now its force field is back up. They continue the attack. That's an ace for Yakeem and the queen for the slaver. Yakeem start getting a little desperate here. He's going to take his shot. It's a 7 - 2. It's a 5 that hits. And all right, that is 6, 11, 17. That explodes. 23. Not enough to actually get through, though the shield again shatters. The creature starts getting really upset. Begins uttering something in a language that Yakeem doesn't understand. But as the stun blaster goes off again, Yakeem sidesteps, just watching these things occur in slow motion. The king for Yakeem, the 8 for the slaver. We are just continuing into another round here, but Yakeem, realizing that he recognizes the fact that actually this is a large creature. This is a size 5. He should be getting a +1 to hit given the size difference. But so Yakeem, he raises the gun even higher, and he is going to go for a headshot. So this is a -4 to hit, plus his level of fatigue. It's a -5 to hit. That's a 1 and a 2. I've got to throw the burn die into this. So he's at a -3 right now. So I need a 7 or higher on the burn die to hit. And it's a 7. Woo, fuck yeah! Good job, Yakeem! So this is now +4 damage on this shot. It's an 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 total, +4, it's 20. Not enough to overcome the big ugly's toughness, though. Creature tries to stun him yet again, and just misses. Yakeem's just too fast. The 4 for Yakeem upgrades to a 6, and then the slaver gets a 5, so they're beginning to slow down a little bit in this round. They try to take their shots. Yakeem is going to try that same thing again, going for head. That's probably a better way of saying that, but you know what? I'm still going to allow it. He's going to throw in his burn die because he's at a -1. He rolled a 4. He rolled a 5 on his burn die, so that it's now a 4 to hit. So that hits, gets +4 to damage. 10, 11, that's not enough. Damn. It just keeps firing, and this heavy creature just keeps the assault going. That blows up. That's not good for Yukim. So that is a 6 to hit. Yukim needs to roll a vigor check. Oh shit, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yukim, you're about to... He's got a 1. I'm going to throw the burn die to avoid getting stunned. Just barely does Yukim avoid actually getting the stun effect. This fight's going late. 2 to a 5 to the queen for Yukim and the 4 for the slaver. Yukim manages to keep just this competitive edge, just barely on top and ahead of the slaver himself. Let's see, a 7 minus 2. That is a 5, so that is still a hit. Now, there's too many 1s in that roll to know that he actually didn't do enough damage. The slaver getting bloodthirsty here. Still manages to miss. I think he's going to change tactics soon. The ace to the 2. So I'm going to roll something here on one of the tables for creatures' combat actions. Usurp communicate. Okay. Usurp communicate. What would that mean? I think I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Yukim goes first. Continuing with his tried and true, shoot it until it stops moving. That is a 9, so that's a hit. Alright, so that's 10, 16, 19 total. He keeps almost bringing the shield down this time, but the shots keep coming. But now, spellcasting of a D10. The slaver tries to do something a little tricky. He's going to try to cast blind on Yukim. So a 7 minus 1 is now a 6. So let's take a look. How does blind work? Does he get any kind of roll to resist? Success means the victim suffers a -2 penalties to all actions requiring sight. So he gets a free attempt at the start of his turn to make a vigor check to see if he can overcome it. But Yukim, as he's firing, the tunneling vision that he sees suddenly overlays with something even worse. Suddenly the world around him starts going incredibly blurry, out of focus, and then starts going grayscale. Yukim is now effectively blinded. The creature just begins to cackle a little bit. Moves forward. Yukim gets a 6 on his turn, but the slaver gets a 7. He's going to try to stun him. And now, just to make sure that I understand, the uncanny reflexes. Yeah, I'm going to rule that the uncanny reflexes no longer work because it specifically says granting them -2 to be hit by any attack they are aware of. And if he is effectively blinded, I'm going to say he may not be aware. So, this is now just modified by the slaver's wound. So it's only a -1. But it misses because he rolled 2 2s. Yukim, at the start of his turn, gets to take a -2 vigor check to try to overcome it. Oh shit, rolled a 6. And he begins to blink away. Starts regaining his sight very quickly that turn. And as he moves up, let's see something here. Oh, it's at the end of his turn. So if he's going to take a shot, this is at a -4 total. But then afterwards, with the roll that I had, he's going to not lose the sight. The 10 blows up. It's an 18 total. It's a hit with a raise. 5d6 damage. He just shoots and fires into the same general space where he sees kind of a blurry outline of a large creature. There's not a single 6 in that damage. It doesn't even... Let's see. Is it enough to... Nope, it's not even enough to break the shielding. But then Yakim's vision begins to return to him. He gets the jack. They both get jacks. And so, in the reverse alphabetical order, it goes spades, then hearts. So Yakim gets to go first. Yakim's starting to get a little worried. He looks down, looks at the counter on the side of his weapon. He's got, let's see, out of, I believe it's 20 shots. He is down to... Oh, it's 30 shots. So he's about halfway through. He's going to risk something here, though. He stops and turns around, braces himself. He's not going to move on this turn. It's going to take 2 extra shots. He's going to use the heavy beam effect. So if I remember correctly, this adds... I believe it adds like +4, and it turns the thing into mega damage. So I'm just flipping through the player's handbook for Savage Rifts, and I'm going over to the weapons section. These are edges. Here we are at attributes, getting closer. Body armor, close combat weapons, personal ranged, heavy beam. Energy weapons, is it heavy beam or heavy pulse? Yeah, heavy beam. Uses 3 shots at +4 to the damage roll, apply the snap fire and mega damage qualities. So, yeah. So snap fire means you cannot turn, or you cannot move on the turn that you fire, which means that the creature will be able to approach him this turn. But he is going to take his shot. -2. I'm going to throw that burn die in. So he rolled that is an 8 total, so it's a hit with a raise. Gets to add +4 to the damage roll. 5d6. That's 10, 14, 17, 18 damage. +2, so it shatters the shielding. And as it kind of goes down, Yakim just realizes, he's like, fuck, I gotta do something. What am I gonna do? The creature approaches, fires off that stun. That is a 5 that hits. Yakim now has got to make a vigor check, a -2. And oh no, Yakim suddenly goes absolutely slack. There is an alerting noise, just a sudden beeping as his biocomp takes over. But Yakim himself, as he kind of catches his last sights before he starts fading out, the creature floats up to him as he is completely stunned. Fool. The tentacle reaches out, and Yakim feels something touch the back of his neck before his vision goes completely black. And we're going to end right there, as Yakim is going to be taken captive by the Splugorth. So, I'm going to do some of the bookkeeping here. That was a fucking hellacious fight. We are going to change the chaos factor from a 6 to a 7 because things got fucky. And that is the official term for what just happened. Fucky. Yakim is now captive. So that's going to have to become its own thread. The Splugor Slayer that takes him may get a name, because now it's going to be a character we're going to have to deal with. Let's see. Hold the CS, corrupt fuel. Let me add a new one, which is taken captive. That's going to go on to the threads list. And now for NPCs, let's go Splugorth Slaver. Well, that did not go the way I was expecting it to. That was an absolutely shit roll to get for an encounter. But we're not dead. We're not out. But at the bare minimum, things have turned, and all of those threads, all of those issues, the things that Yakeem wants to do, the things that Yakeem needs to do, maybe put on hold here, as we're about to delve into some of the darkest portions of Rift's Earth. So with that, I should probably put a content warning on this particular one, but regardless, thank you, and good night.
Please join us on Patreon at patreon.com/dyingsigh. Gain early access to episodes, access to our Discord, and just generally help support the show. This game references the Savage Worlds game system, available at Pinnacle Entertainment Group at www.peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual properties of Pinnacle, and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings, and unique characters, locations, and characters, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group.